Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Retreadcast. We are at episode 42 now, and today's installment has a slight change of tack, as you will already see. I'm Kenny Lim, a contributor to Retreading Business and the Business Development Manager of the Thailand and Truck and Bus News, sister magazines to Retreading Business. At the point of recording, David is taking advantage of some winter sun in Morocco after a long year, so that has left me to step into the David-shaped presenting void this week. It is all changed with our interview as well, as we have an on-site interview in Malaysia from our editor Michael Hutt with Kevin Gillin, the CEO of Retreaders. This is our second interview in 2024 with Kevin, but this time out, we catch up with Kevin during a trip to Southeast Asia. In the interview, Michael and Kevin talk about the Retread plans for establishing a base in Kuala Lumpur and for developing rubber products in adjacent markets, the price and quality of their rubber compared to established rivals, and the ongoing tough business environment Retreaders have to face across the world to make their business model work. You can watch the interview in full now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Retreadcast. I'm here in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, with Kevin Gillin, the Managing Director of CERT, incorporating Retreaders. Welcome, Kevin.
Hello, how you doing, Michael?
I'm good. Yeah, how are you finding warm, hot, and not very sunny Kuala Lumpur at the moment?
Oh, it's quite nice, actually.
Must be quite a change from the UK.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's nice, actually. It's nice weather.
Yeah.
It's cooler than from previous trips.
Good.
Seems to change.
Yeah, it does a little bit.
I think it's to do with the humidity.
Yeah. Cool. So I guess the first question I have for you, Kevin, is why are you here? What brings you to Southeast Asia?
So we've obviously flown into Kuala Lumpur, took a trip to Indonesia to look at manufacturing plant that's producing our treads.
Mm-hmm.
Do some quality control, talk about some social well-being for the workers there, and just general stuff really about our tread and new things that are happening.
Yeah,
things that we're requesting, quality of the packaging,
right.
Just general stuff really, which we do regular. We go there regular.
Okay. So explain a little bit about Retreaders and the way that you operate across the UK and Southeast Asia at the moment. So what's kind of the setup? What's the concept for people who don't know?
So at the moment we have a distribution point in the UK, also in Europe,
right,
from Netherlands.
Okay.
We are looking actually at opening up in France, as well. Yeah, a small warehouse there. So the tread comes into us and we distribute to whoever wants to buy the tread. At the moment we have lots of samples going out.
Right.
So we've been concentrating a little bit on Ireland.
Yeah.
Which we've had some good feedback actually. What we always say is to try some tread, test it with your customers, and then see if it's right for the retreader.
Okay. And so the tread is coming from Southeast Asia?
It's coming from various manufacturers. At the moment we have a manufacturer in Indonesia that's doing the Retread and overland product.
Right.
So the overland product is a more cost-effective, value for money sort of tread for users that are using a lot of tyres and getting a lot of damage. Obviously Retread is more premium rubber, which we sort of glance at as it's in the tier of the top premium manufacturers in Europe.
Right, okay.
So that's what we're going up against.
Yeah.
And things have to be tested and people have to try it.
Yeah.
And we will come across some flaws. At the moment, actually, it's been quite good. I think the most important thing is to make sure we get the quality correct.
Yeah.
And because we're mixing directly off natural rubber, synthetic rubber, the quality will stay the same throughout the whole process, not like some where you see from some other manufacturers with a more budget tread.
Yeah.
where the quality goes up and down.
Okay.
But I think it's going to take time for people to get confidence in us.
Yeah.
Into our product. It's like anything.
It's quite a new concept, and actually, I think, as far as I'm aware, you're probably the first company that I see who are kind of forging these sorts of relationships. I mean,
I think we are the first.
I think you are, maybe, yeah.
So globally, I think we're the first.
Which makes sense, right? Because all of the natural rubber in the world, or most of the natural rubber in the world, comes from here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be shipped from here.
Yeah.
So if you're manufacturing in Germany, Italy, UK, wherever, Turkey even, you've still got to get your raw products from Southeast Asia. I mean, obviously, some stuff out of South America.
Yeah.
But predominantly, it's going to be Southeast Asia. So you're either shipping raw materials into Europe to manufacture, which is good for employment, but as we all know, and I think any other manufacturers watching this will tell you, it's very difficult now to get staff to do manual jobs. So we will not manufacture in Europe.
Right.
We will keep all our manufacturing to Southeast Asia. We're not manufacturing in China. We're focusing on Malaysia, Indonesia, this market. So for us, we're passing the energy savings on, labour savings on to the retreader. So that's why our product is less money, but the same quality.
Okay.
If not better.
Yeah.
Familiar but better.
Yeah. That actually brings me to my next question, which is about quality. Because obviously, the whole market at the moment, everybody is talking about quality. Everyone is moving towards quality because it's seen as the only way to compete against, an influx of cheap new tires, right? So how are you finding the quality of the tread that you're working on here in Southeast Asia?
If we were to go back to day one, I would say they were really 60% of the way there.
Okay.
If I was to move forward now, with what we've put into the factory,
right?
So there's 2 brand new manufacturing lines, which are operational now, and it's very fluid and quiet. There's been a lot of money invested.
Yeah.
And the factory's done very, very well. And it's, they generally have done really well. So the quality now with all the rubbers that we've been testing, so like any manufacturer, we'll test other people's rubbers,
right,
and build their tyres and test them because we have a retread facility in the UK.
Yeah.
I think we've made, and we've gone over that milestone now where we've got it pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's why now we say to the retreaders, look, take some product. Listen, we'll send you 2 or 3 rolls, whichever. Try it.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to be surprised. And why would you be paying €1.50, €2 for electric when we can be €1 or €2 cheaper? Because our energy costs are, they're very, well, as you know, you live it. So. It's a lot cheaper here for the energy. And that's what we're looking at is energy costs.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think, I've been exploring a lot recently about how the retreading world needs to come closer together to protect us, especially when it comes to independent retreaders and suppliers to those independent retreaders. There does need to be more collaboration.
It does.
And I think, I see the signs of what you're doing is exceptionally interesting in trying to bridge some of those gaps.
We are. We want to just be one big family, really, of independent. We're not talking about the big manufacturers, the big branded manufacturers. Independent retreaders, if we don't stick together, there's enough work there for everybody. So forget about competition of he makes tyres or he makes tyres. If you've got an E number and you stick to the regulations, Megatread will work with you.
Yeah.
And if you don't have them certifications, we'll help to get you to certification.
Okay. That's interesting.
But independent retreaders, the small ones, we have a small retreading shop in the south of England, makes 150 tyres a week. So it's just really a baby shop. But for us, it works because we test a lot of our own treads. So if it's good for us, then it should be good for other retreaders. I think if the independent retreaders stick together in the UK, Ireland, Europe, we'll form one big partnership, which will be stronger than your big manufacturers, who make new tyres, who are heavily getting involved into pre-cure and hot cure retreading, which they could take over. If we don't do something, they'll take over, and you'll eventually see all the small retreaders making between 100 and 300 or 400 tyres a week.
Yeah.
They'll disappear.
Yes.
They'll 100% disappear.
Yeah. I mean, it's very apparent across the whole industry, across the whole globe, that, independent retreaders are having a very difficult time at the moment. I've even been looking at the retreaders themselves seem to be having a more difficult time than the company supplying them with equipment, tread, etc.
Yeah.
Right. So the retreaders themselves are the ones who are kind of sucking up all the pain at the moment. And so I think anything that someone like yourselves can do to help ease that pain, and I think you're right in, there is opportunity here to produce great quality, lower cost. Why not?
Yeah, why
explore
not?
that?
All we're doing really is bringing our knowledge.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got a big retreader who have now decided to start using mega treads, right? So, and they'll put it in as their second tier tread to start with, and we don't mind that.
Yeah.
But what people need to realise, just because the price is less, doesn't mean the tread is not as good.
Right.
And that's why we are great believers that once retreaders have tried it, and of course we'll get some problems, I'm sure, but once retreaders have tried it, they'll go, actually, it's not too bad. We've got retreaders in the UK at the moment who have, to my surprise actually, have taken product, and we have one particular retreader that's taken a lot of product because they've tried it. Now they always thought we was competition because within our group we have a small retreader, but we're generally not. We rather work with people and help people, and them help us even. Yeah, we're not magicians. Everyone's got knowledge. So I know that some people have tested the rubber up against their current premium suppliers and have said to us, it's as good, if not better. But the price is half the price. So it sort of makes sense. And in Ireland, actually, what the Irish retreaders have said to us is, you've come at the right time because the tread is so expensive.
Right.
But it's very difficult to get retreaders to try and change. I think once they do try and change, we're not going to all of a sudden put prices up. Yeah. Our price is based on the lower market,
right?
And energy costs. So if they go up, they'll go up. And shipping. When shipping goes up, we see with other manufacturers, they automatically put their price up, but they never put the price back down.
Right.
So so we're going to go down a different route actually. If shipping prices go up, as you know, from Southeast Asia, so like I say, if you're shipping natural rubber or the finished product, you still got that.
Still got to ship.
Yeah. If they go up, we will attach a separately on the invoice. There will be a which the retreaders will know about in advance.
Right.
We'll put a surcharge on.
Okay.
But when the shipping price comes down, we'll take it off. We won't leave it on there. We have our base price.
That's very, very, very transparent.
Very transparent.
Yeah.
And you're not getting that from other companies. They're not being that transparent about shipping prices. And I think, like a lot of things in the world now, says there's an excuse to put a price up. It goes up, but it never seems to come back down.
No.
And I do understand why European manufacturers tread is costing so much money. I don't think it's because they're trying to, they're making good quality products. But it's just the cost. So it's the costs are so high in Europe, which is why there's hot cure retread plants closing down, because
Yeah, we saw only last month a big European plant shut down.
Yeah.
And again, it's a cost saving exercise.
Yeah. But we would also open our doors up to other manufacturers. If other manufacturers want to manufacture in Southeast Asia instead of manufacturing in Europe, we're also open to talk about that.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Mm.
So where do you see things going from here? What does the next year or two look like for Megatreads, for your engagement in Southeast Asia? What does a kind of expansion plan look like?
So this week we're here to view new offices.
Okay.
So we want to have, we'll start with a team between 5 and 10
Right.
staff for doing research and other duties for us. And we expect to expand that office in Kuala Lumpur, actually.
Okay.
We are looking for other products and other industries, so we don't just deal with rubber. Megatreads is just a brand that we're dealing with for the rubber, but we're also looking at other types of products.
Okay.
To do a similar concept.
Adjacent industries.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very important for us to have an office here. We would like to have an office in the United States, actually. So we have been looking. We've been over to the States, but I think that's a tough cookie to crack.
Yes. It's a very different kettle of fish in the US.
Yeah, it's a different kettle of fish. So we'll see how that plans out. But for now, our concentration is on Southeast Asia, getting our office opened in Southeast Asia, potentially a new warehouse in Europe.
Okay.
And just carry on as we are in the UK, to be fair, and try and sell products. We're not there to make lots of money. We're there for the challenge and to keep the independent retreaders going with a good, cost-effective product.
Yeah. And so do you, if, for example, all of a sudden, the demand for Megatread takes off, you have the capacity to be able to expand quickly?
We do. We've got capacity at the moment of around 400 to 500 tons per month.
Okay.
However, we are looking at other manufacturers.
Okay.
Because there's some really good manufacturers in Southeast Asia, actually, and they're just missing that bridge into Europe.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the sales, because we all know that anybody can go and order a small container of tread once in a while, get a good price, but it won't necessarily have the right rubber compound, it won't have the right patterns. So all our patterns are developed really for the UK, Ireland and European market. And we're also learning, we're learning that lots of people want contour on certain patterns.
Yeah.
So that's so we have a trip down to Singapore to our mould maker, to talk about some more moulds.
Yeah.
And as you know, it's a very expensive process to get moulds made.
Yes.
Or good quality moulds, and our moulds are, they're good quality moulds. But so we're not wasting any money on going to get 100 moulds made and then see what people buy. We're taking advice from people, and then we'll get the moulds made. Okay. And that's a longer process, but it's environmentally more friendly because what we make we'll use, and it's more cost effective for the independent retreader because they're not paying for 50 moulds that are not being used because the money has to come from somewhere.
And it's collaborative as well. Again, it feeds back into what you've been saying is about, working with people together rather than just being a supplier or a purchaser.
I mean, if we get retreaders say we want a particular pattern, then we'll look at it. We'll look at making a mould for it. But there's no point us making moulds.
Yeah.
They're not going to be sellable treads. Yeah. And that's the problem with Southeast Asia. A lot of the moulds aren't sellable patterns.
No, actually, it was an interesting conversation we had, not on the podcast, but this idea of all of the certifications, all of the standards that you have to adhere to if you're importing something into Europe or the UK. I think a lot of Southeast Asian, companies are just are put off by that because it is expensive, it's difficult, it's complicated, and it's not something we're necessarily all that used to it. So, you know, I know you were saying that
We do
that's
all the
something that you
testing.
assist with and
Oh, absolutely.
testing. And
Yeah, because the rubber's coming out of India and Southeast Asia, as they are, they don't comply to the SVHC testing.
yeah,
So we have to make changes, which cost us a bit more money actually for the products, especially with the oils. We have to use treated oils so that we can pass the SVHC testing.
okay,
And soon the government will be very aware of companies if they're not playing on a level playing field, because we don't want in Europe nasty oils. And hopefully what will happen is we can order enough product out of Southeast Asia, they'll start using the oils there anyway. So it's better for this,
yeah,
better for the people in Southeast Asia. But SVHC, three-peak mountain snowflake, is another thing that's quite extensive
yeah.
for us.
Which again is something that we don't have a problem with in Asia.
No, but for us, it's going to be a probably investment of between 250 and 500,000 euros. So
Okay,
once we get some of the moulds, we'll gradually do them. But again, it's something that has to be done, and we do see a lot of fake markings, because we know when they're fake because of the size of the marking, etc. You know, so we want to comply in all them areas.
okay,
And if we can do that, then the manufacturers in Southeast Asia can sell under our license of Megatreads.
yeah,
We've got our own sales team, so which we're keeping very small actually, because we want to keep costs down. Again,
of course,
if we employ lots of high-paid sales staff in nice cars,
yeah,
using nice hotels, then that money has to be paid back, and that gets paid back through selling rubber.
yeah,
So we're trying to do that in the most cost-effective manner, because we have a set margin that we want to make as a company so that we can reinvest, not only into our own business, but into the local community that's making the treads,
yeah,
you know, for the social responsibility side. So we're going down a different route actually with our sales to make it more cost effective.
Okay.
And them savings are going to be passed on to the retailer.
yeah. Okay, so I mean, to me, it sounds like a really good deal for producers in Southeast Asia. You know,
It's a good deal for both sides.
yeah, you know, you deal with all of the paperwork and the stuff that, you know, maybe they're not too aware of. But you also mentioned CSR, which I think is, you know, is something that is becoming, maybe it has been overlooked quite a bit in this region of the world, but it is becoming more important. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the CSR that you do with your suppliers here at Southeast
The
Asia.
environmental side.
The environmental, sorry,
social.
corporate social responsibility.
social
responsibility.
responsibility,
Yeah.
All that sort of
There's
stuff.
different
ESG,
acronyms for it
yes,
wherever
yeah.
you go. Yeah.
So social responsibility is, I think the factories need to improve from a BP point of view,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
We've been in some factories where I wouldn't work in them. If I wouldn't work in them, then why should anybody, in my eyes? So I think some of the factories need to realise and take care of their staff, because what happens now, they might be affected in 20 years' time as they get older, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why we have all the laws and regulations in Europe. But CSR, ESG, all these things we're looking at, from solar panels to whatever we can do. If we can just make a small change each year to a factory, it's got to be a good thing.
Yeah.
I was talking to one supplier actually. I said to them, you know, you've got a canteen for your office staff, which is air conditioned, yet your factory staff have to sit in a quite messy area to eat their lunch with no air conditioning. Wouldn't it be nice for what it costs to put an air conditioning unit in?
Yeah.
Yeah. And start using solar panels for if you've got small offices or
Yeah. Well,
Well,
if you've
really,
got a big
just-
factory, right? I mean, it's perfect to.
solar panels.
Put on
Yeah,
the roof.
it's got to be good, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is it a big thing? Is it in Southeast Asia, solar panels? Or?
It's getting bigger, but yeah, I mean, you know, you also have to understand that energy is cheaper here.
Well,
Right, so there's
I was
not-
going to come to that.
yeah.
Actually. So because the energy is cheaper, they don't see it as a priority.
Exactly.
When in fact it is a priority.
Yes. Yeah. But this is the idea of sustainability, right? It's like you're not talking about what's necessarily going to have the biggest impact on your business today, but it's about 10, 15, 20 years down the line. Are you putting stuff in place now that is going to mean that your business is still here in 20 years' time?
I know sort of one thing we done with our factory and offices in the UK was we put LED lighting in.
Right.
And actually, though it cost quite a lot of money to do that, we noticed a massive reduction in our electric bill.
Really?
On, I think it's like £300 per month or something, £200 a month, right? On just lights.
Yeah.
We're just having data logging done at the moment. So in the UK, we're actually data logging our compressors.
Right.
So we want to have the exact right kilowatt compressor for the factory.
Okay.
Because I think there's lots of little things you can do, like put your compressors inside to heat the factory, data logging to make sure you're running the right so they're not oversized, they're variable speed, things like this. And I think all these things adding up, and if we can do that in lots of other places, it does make a difference.
Yeah, it does. It is definitely a trickle effect. You make a lot of small changes, and things improve.
So even with the retailers, like, and they can go to any compressor company and ask them to come out and do data logging.
Yes.
Because we feel we run compressors that are way oversized for the factory because we think big's going to be better and safer. But actually, in fact, I think we'll probably end up saving around £500 to £1,000 a month in electric.
Wow.
By changing our compressors.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's loads of compressor companies in the UK that actually get data logging done. But I don't know about here what they do about data logging on compressors. I've been into some places, some of the compressors look way oversized.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, speaking from my experience in Southeast Asia, you're going to find the full gambit, right? You're going to find people who understand every aspect of their factory, their operation, and you're going to have people who, just kind of, it works, but it works on a wing and a prayer.
Yeah.
So you will find that discrepancy as you go and, speak to suppliers and manufacturers here.
We are going to add things onto the website about where people can go on and just look for themselves in their own time.
Right.
Because obviously you don't want to be going around everyone's factories as a customer, let's say, and saying, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. We will never do that. But certainly with suppliers, if they're supplying us, then we will ask for certain changes within the year, even if it's something small.
Okay.
Even if we have to contribute towards it.
Yeah.
So
fairly reasonable.
I think so, yeah. So, but we will put some advice. There'll be a website with some advice on for everybody to look at.
Yeah.
Free of charge. Just have a look and go, oh, actually, I didn't realise that. We done this. And people can send us their case studies. And if they do something that makes a good change, tell us and we can share it with other people. Because also retreaders, I think independent retreaders, on one side they say they don't make any money, but then on the other side, are they saving where they can like the big manufacturers do?
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So if the business is run badly, you won't make any money.
Yeah.
If you're looking at being into retreading for the next 10 years, invest now in saving money. Yeah. Because it will have a massive effect on your business.
And I think a lot of independent retreaders, they are smaller organizations. They're often family run. They don't have a huge team of financial accountants going through accounting for every penny that's spent on energy costs or different machines.
That's why we're going to.
They're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, but they just need to. Everyone can go onto the internet and Google energy savings.
Yeah.
It is difficult in Europe for retreaders. Generally, even for ourselves with the costs. When you add up all the costs of making a retread and you put it on paper, it's quite frightening.
Yeah.
And then we hear of retreaders selling tyres for less than we can even dream of making a tyre for.
And then you wonder how they're doing it.
And we're like, how that business won't stay in business.
Yeah.
And it's ludicrous that they're selling their tyres so cheap.
Yeah.
where they've got to make a profit to reinvest in their business. If not, their business is just going to go downhill.
Yeah.
The equipment will go downhill, and then they'll be in a sticky situation, and then you don't get the quality.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that is again another part of the problem we see at the moment is, you know, the pace at which the equipment is becoming more efficient, more, you know, but also a huge financial investment for people, right? So that, you know, a lot of independent retreaders, there is this equipment out there that they could buy to make them more efficient, but the upfront outlay doesn't quite yet match the, you know, the ability to kind of pay that off.
A lot of equipment is made in Europe.
Yeah.
And the costs there are expensive. When in fact, you know, you can buy equipment in many different places. I think it's getting the backup, actually. I think with equipment, I think the golden rule is with the manufacturers that whoever's got the engineers to support their machinery is going to win in Europe.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
But then saying that, it doesn't cost much to jump on a plane from Southeast Asia and
Not anymore.
come to Europe for a week.
Yeah.
You know? So, there's some very, very good manufacturers in Italy.
Yeah.
Who I think probably make some of the best machinery in the world.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. But it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
To wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to specifically raise that you're doing that I'm not aware of?
Anything else that we're doing? Above the tread, the rubber, or the...
Yeah, and I mean, just anything that, you know,
No, we're
sort of mega treads.
We're concentrating on the rubber. We're also going to be supplying retreaders with, if they're buying our tread, we're going to be supplying some of the consumables will be free of charge.
Okay,
So
that's great.
you know, one of the things we are trying to look at actually is packages. So when someone orders 10,000 kilos of tread or 2,000 kilos of tread, we can supply everything for that job.
Right.
From the skiving, abrasion tooling, the
Rubber gums,
to
all
the
that sort of
rubber
stuff.
gum solution, the paint,
Yeah.
and all this type of...
Interesting.
Yeah, so that might be good for retreaders actually. Personally, I think because we'll be buying in large quantities of the consumables, to us the cost is much lower than what the retreader would have to buy from, let's say, a run-of-the-mill supplier for the abrasion materials.
Right.
So, and we'll be moving into, hopefully moving into blades as well, button blades at a later date.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
Again, to try and reduce costs.
Yeah.
But predominantly we want to make our money from rubber.
Yeah.
We've got no interest in making really money from consumables because I think you're taking the profit out of the job when you're paying £15, £20 for a abrasion wheel when you could get it for free for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, because to us the cost is minimal.
Perfect. Great. Well, look, I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Asia. I hope you
gonna
get
be
to meet some
interesting.
nice people who can help you expand on the business. And thank you very much for
No,
talking
thank
to
you very
us
much,
today.
Michael. And we'll see you again soon, no doubt.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much. Cheers.
Thanks, Kevin.
And there you have it. That's a wrap on episode 42 for the Retreadcast. A big thank you to Michael for conducting that interview and to Kevin for participating. Remember, you can catch all the Retreadcast best bits on our YouTube channel and socials and stay up to date with all the crucial retreading news on our website. Thank you for watching and see you soon.